Good afternoon, ladies. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to ORL Season 11 for Round 2 of the F1-A, the top split of ORL here at the Circuit de Sakhir in Bahrain. We're riding on board with Fabrizio Donoso 3 minutes into qualifying, who's setting up for a quick lap. For those of you guys who weren't here with us for Season 10, the championship came down right to the wire as Velocity Formula Danny Velocity Formula Danny lost the title due to a disconnect in the final few corners, and Calcifer took the championship. However, Formula Danny isn't around this year, it would seem. Actually, wait, no, he is. He caught me out for a second. He wasn't on the list a little bit early today, but he is here, as is the likes of Fabrizio Donoso and Veloci Hypers. Three drivers to really watch out for this season. And going to be something to really watch out to see how these drivers can do. It's going to be a very tightly contested race. And we're just going to stick on board as at the minute Vipri Presneider setting the fastest lap. That's quickly beaten by Marianne in the McLaren with a 28.8. As Donoso coming into the final corner, turn 15. We'll clip the curve just a little bit, power straight on these hard tyres. Let's see what lap it's going to be. It's a bit slower than everyone else's with a 30.4 coming through. Could you guys let me know in the chat if all the volumes and everything are working? Our first time back, so just want to make sure that the stream is running perfectly smooth. Anyway, running with Donoso once again. Cool, and it seems that everything is running nice and smoothly. Increased game audio is in order. We'll knock that up then a little bit, get that a little bit louder. Hopefully this should help just a little bit. As let's scroll through some of the other drivers. Formula Danny in the Alfa Romeo Sauber, currently sitting on pole. No surprises there. 26.5 on those soft tyres. Everyone else so far, though, setting out laps on the hard tyres. So expect to see that potentially change as Formula Danny on a cool down lap right now. Who is on a out lap? Let's take a look with some of our new drivers. Matthias Kologun heading into turn 14 onto the back straight. He's warming up once again. Another driver going for those hard tyres. So he rounds the final corner to start a hot lap. DRS open. We'll power it down into turn 1. Actually, let's just stick on board for his hot lap. Hits the brakes out about the 100-meter mark. Gets a slow down. Drops it all the way down to first. Straight back up into second. Try to ease a power in. Very easy to lose a back end through turn 1s and 2. Now, how late would he dare brake? You usually brake just before the curve starts. He brakes a little bit before. Gets it right tucked in onto the apex. Straight back on the power. Now, this is probably the most fun part of the circuit. Just clipping the curb for the right-hander. Back on the left-hander. Straight back on the power. Have to be really patient now through turn 8. Gets on the power. You can hear the back end wanting to step out. And now making his way down into 9 and 10. Straight line it through 9. A little bit of an under rotation in that front left tyre. But back on the power once again. DRS opens up. on the brakes at about the 70-meter mark. Back on the power, feed the power in. Now this is one corner that's always tricky, because if you hit the curb on the inside, it is almost an auto-spin curb. Matthias stays well off it. Back on the brakes, feeding the steering in. Will miss the apex. That'll cost him a few tenths at least. And now onto the back straight. Let's see what he can get. If he can get within the 28th, I'm sure he'd be fairly happy with that. But he's actually going to completely back off. So clearly not happy with that lap, and doesn't want to run the risk of having to start on those sides. But he's actually going to go for another lap, so I believe he's trying to just save up some ERS for one final lap. Let's take a look with our reigning champion, our 3-time winner, Calcifer. Let's see what he can do. Again, for Calcifer, I was talking to him earlier today. Again, not feeling very confident with this F1 2019 game. Feels that just can't quite control the tyre wear. The tyre's overheating a lot for him. Look how much track Calcifer using into the left-handed. Back on the power. Car trying to understeer all the way. Put it back to the left for the fast sweeping right-hander. Flat out touching that white paint. Back on the brakes. Once again, another driver who's just missing his braking point ever so slightly. Calcifer dropping it down into third. Not actually going all the way down to second. Back on the power. Let's see what this is going to be. If he can get into the 29s, 28s, I think he'll be happy. 29 or 1. So a decent result so far. However, I think he is capable of actually battling with the likes of Mark, who is currently sitting in 8th, as Fabrizio Donoso setting a 28. Sorry, Donoso already on a 28.0, but Photon setting a 28.0 on those hard tires. And that kind of brings us to a new point. I think last season we kind of underestimated, you know, how important the team battles were. You know, the Constructors' Championship. We only really focused on the... Pardon me. We only really focused on the Drivers' Championship. But this time I think we've got quite a few very interesting lineups, and one of the first ones that I want to bring your attentions to is Fabrizio Donoso and Veloci Hypers in the Mercedes. I think this is a really strong lineup, and possibly the lineup that may actually just win the championship outright. Toro Rosso also have a strong lineup with Calcifer and Photon, both of them proven drivers and can do a lot. The other one that I'm kind of interested in, and just because it has Formula Danny, we saw Formula Danny take Mercedes so far last year, and this time Formula Danny in that Alfa Romeo Sauber. You have the lineup of Formula Danny and Samuel Liebert. We'll have to see how well Samuel Liebert can do, but hopefully over the course of this series we can focus on these constructors and the inter-team battles a little bit more than we did in previous years. So I feel over the past year or so we kind of just ignored it somewhat and focused a lot more on the actual driver standing. Because let's take a look at Donoso, who started a flying lap. He's now on the soft tires. He'll be looking to find that 1.5 seconds to take the fight to Formula Danny. These are going to be two of the fastest drivers in the league. Formula Danny and Donoso, we saw them racing against each other so many times, wheel-to-wheel battles coming through. And I think Veloci Hypers will be the one to round out that kind of top two battle. We've seen in the past the likes of Veloci James and... so we've seen the likes of Veloci James, Veloci Photon, who is now just Photon it seems, and the likes of Tim Williams, Isaac also joining in that fight. But looking at everything right now, I think Hypers is going to be the one to watch out for. Actually, can someone clarify? Yeah, is Hypers James? So apparently Veloci James was late for the lobby, so he will be joining us, but he will therefore be starting at the back of the grid. So if you just take a look at all the teams out there, it looks like he'll be teammates with Andinator in that house, but going to focus on Formula Danny, who rides the curb beautifully. The back end trying to step out as he feeds the power in onto the back straight. Donoso backing out of this one. He's going to do a 28.9. So clearly, thinks that he's worn out those tires a little bit too much. But 28.9, and he really, really slowed down. Hypers is hypers. Nice. Good to hear. Also, Julian, are you and Crow not going to be racing in the season then? Because I know Crow did a lot of races here last season. So it'd be good to see you guys here once again. As actually, let's take a look at CRG Stiv. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. As he's actually just finished a lap, I believe. If we take a look at where is it? Fitted best. Oh wait, fitted, yeah. So he's done one lap on these tires already. So he's finished off his lap. He's just backing off as Formula Danny. Coming through the final corner, he's much slower. And he's going to head straight into the pits and bang on a new fresh set of rubber. That's a shame. Well, hopefully we'll see you in the future races then. It'll be good to see you in here in the lobby. Here we go, Fabrizio Donoso coming for another. Actually, no, he's going to head straight into the pits. Is anyone on a lap? Nameless is out on his out lap. What about Stiv, actually? Stiv, I think, is on an in lap. So let's just stick with Nameless. We haven't been able to stick with him for a bit. And obviously in these Ferrari cars, Nameless and Mark will be two to watch out for. We have seen, of course, how quick Mark is. Has taken the race to Calcifer, and actually did beat Calcifer quite a few times towards the end of the second half of season 10. So we'll have to keep an eye on these guys out. If you guys in the chat think that there is any particular lineups, any particular drivers you want to watch out for, if you want to get any shout outs onto stream, do drop a comment in the YouTube chat and we'll get right back to you. Also, don't forget to hit us up with your favorite overtakes, favorite moments of every race during the season. We're going to continuously try to get out good highlight videos, and at the halfway point of the season, and maybe even earlier, but definitely at the end as well, we're going to try to get out a really nice highlight reel to come through of all of the best moments of the season. So if you hit us up with those time links, timestamps, it'll make our lives so much easier, make it even more likely that we can get more highlight videos out and more high quality highlight videos out. But Nameless on his way down the straight into turn 4, slows it down into 4th gear, gets a decent drive, not being too aggressive. Quick shift down to 5th and then 4th, back on the power. Quick shifts down to 1st. Actually very, very short shifts up into 3rd there from Nameless. Clearly trying to avoid getting too much wheel spin, losing that traction. Nameless will get his power down. Formula Danny and Stiv still in the pit, so that's somewhat surprising. Nameless on the power, touching the curb on the outside on the absolute limit. Nameless getting close to the curb. Mark, his teammate, will get right out of the way. Nameless onto the curb of turn 14. Powering it down the back straight. Yellow flag is out. That won't affect Nameless at all. He'll just power through. Feels like he didn't get the best possible run out of 15. Now, what is it going to be? It's a 27.3. That's enough to move him up to 3rd, but he is on those medium tires. Matthias Cologon has found 2/10 so far, so good stuff from him. What about Photon? He's about to finish his first sector. Let's see what this is on those medium tires. He's found a 10th so far. What about Hypers? He's making his way into the final sector. What's it going to be? He's 8/10 up, so Hypers going to actually be looking maybe to just sneak into the 26s. He's a couple of tenths off that so far, but he might be able to pull it out of the bag. Calcifer down in 17th as well, our reigning champion. Not off to a great start. He was unable to participate in the race last week in Australia. What can Hypers do? Is a 27 to not quite into those 26s. Colagona has finished his lap as Formula Danny's actually just going to back. Okay, right, here we go. Formula Danny lining himself up. Let's go. Formula Danny 100% on the ERS. And he's going to boost that all down the start finish straight. Here we go. Let's just stay quiet and actually enjoy this hot lap from Formula Danny. Formula Danny's going to be able to get a little bit of a draw from Calcifer. Calcifer getting well out of the way though. Poor back end almost stepping out through turn 12. Back on the power, 2 more corners to go. Fourth gear gets the power back on Formula Danny. Looking really, really quick so far. Stiv unable to improve it. See, he's actually just behind. Velocity Formula Danny. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. Stiv on the back straight right now. Formula Danny. It's a 25.9. This guy is absolutely incredible. Stiv, though, he's 2/10 up. I don't think that's going to be enough to match Formula Danny. What's he going to be able to do is a 26.4. Mark and Photon. Photon actually going to head into the pits. Nobody else is on a hot lap. So it looks like this may then be our final grid run. Then Formula Danny once again taking pole position. No real surprises there. Got a minute to see if anything else can happen. I don't think anything else will. But then still got 45 minutes of the session remaining. Right, so that is your qualifying results for Fabrizio Donoso. All the way down in 16th. We really missed him dropping through the orders. Wasn't able to get another lap in, but let's just run you through the top 10. Then Velocity Formula Danny taking yet another pole position ahead of CRG Stiv. Matthias Colagon in 3rd ahead of Velocity Hypers. MRL Mark takes 5th place ahead of Photon. Nameless in 7th ahead of Presnida. Marianne in 9th ahead of Kopi in 10th place in the Williams. And on that note, there is your results. You can even see what tyres. So this is actually quite good for everyone from 3rd down. They are starting on those medium tyres. So it will be interesting to see how that goes. Donoso actually starting on the mediums as well. But we're going to be heading into a short break and we'll be right back with the start of the race. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are ready to get underway for the race here today at Bahrain. It's not too late to get in a few more comments to get those shouted out onto stream. And away the drivers go for the formation lap. Round number 2 here at the Bahrain circuit at Sakir. And it's a familiar name lining up in pole position. Veloce Formula Danny taking yet another pole position. He takes pole and will be lining up alongside CRG Stiv ahead of Matthias Cologon and Veloce Hypers, who round out row 2. MRL Mark and Photon take row 3 ahead of Nameless and Prisnider in 8th. Marianne and Kopi round out the top 10. Calcifer, our reigning champion, just struggling to make it into that top 10. He's in 11th place ahead of Wow125 in 12th. And Anata is 13th in the first of the Haas's. Sunny takes 14th ahead of Workman in 15th. Fabrizio Donoso in 16th ahead of Crew 6 and I'm just going to say Etnik. Ahead of Etnik in 18th. Samuel Lieber taking 19th ahead of Veloce James in the Red Bull, who was unable to make it in time for the qualifying session. And you know, guys, we've been talking about teams to really watch out for. We've mentioned the fact that Toro Rosso, they have Photon and Calcifer, and they could really be a force to reckon with. However, we can't discount the fact that Mercedes have Fabrizio Donoso and Hypers. They're going to be two really big names to watch out for. Also, Red Bull, Matthias qualifying 3rd, and Veloci James. We really have to watch out for James, because that is going to be absolutely crucial. He's going to be flying through the grid, as I think Fabrizio Donoso will be as well. Formula Danny lining up in that first grid spot. We hope that he's had his lasagna. It seems to help him a lot. But as we wait for the rest of the grid to line up on circuit, there they all are lining up in grid. No incidents on that formation lap. So we await the 5 red light to come through. And away we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's not a good start for Matthias Cologon. Veloci Hypers might be able to actually squeeze up on the inside. As we're going to take a look, Formula Danny will be able to get into turn 1 nice and clean. Stiv will be able to make it into 3rd. Let's take the view from Photon, looking for the outside through turn 3. He's going to be able to make that work. Sorry, turn 2, beg your pardon. Photon, could he look for something down the inside? Veloci Hypers making his way up into 3rd. Cologon, though, trying to hold it around the outside. He might actually be able to make this one work. Hypers down the inside, back into turn 6. Will be able to make that one whole, but back behind. Mark in a good position, looking for the old switcheroo onto Cologon, who's not had the best of starts. Also, Calcifer with a great start up into 8th from 11th place. Mark, though, right up the chuff of Cologon, as Let's Ride on board with Calcifer for a second. As actually, I think there might be a move happening up ahead. Nothing will come through too soon. Calcifer in that Toro Rosso. He's going to run a little bit wide. Will be able to keep it going, though. But look at this. Stiv and Formula Danny pulling away in the lead. However, Wow and Kopi having a good battle of their own, as actually Donoso looking down the inside of Wow's Renault might be able to move up into 10th with this one. Good start from him. Up into 11th after starting down in 16th. Make that 10th place as he moves up into the top 10. But we've got a right old battle going on here. Samuel Lieber at the back of this train. As well, going to look actually for the move onto Sonny. Oh, Workman doesn't have much room to go. Sonny going to try to hold it around the outside of turn 1. Going to be able to make it work. Wow, now in a bit of a bad situation. Can Workman get the better drive? Speaking of drive, Samuel Lieber trying to tuck under Workman. Could look for the dive bomb into turn 4. He's going to go for it, squeezing it through side by side between the two of them now. As actually, we're going to head up because Cologon getting really close for a second onto MRL Mark and Hypers. But it looks like they're actually fairly split, so let's make our way back. As Workman down the inside into turn 10. Good classic move here at Bahrain, but Workman going to get caught out. Back end will come out a little bit. Velocity James will be looking to pick up those pieces, and he'll make his way up into 13th place after starting all the way down in 20th on the start. But look at this, side by side. Samuel Liebert looking to take the advantage. Oh, there's a little bit of contact. Samuel Liebert might be losing the back end. He's going to hold it. That's all fine though. Krusix looking to get the drive, still so close. Absolutely great racing going on here for round 2 of ORL season 11. Krusix just a little bit behind, but we're in a great position to watch Liebert try to get the run onto Etnik. But Etnik actually getting a really good run onto Workman. DRS has not yet been enabled. It will be enabled this lap. Can Etnik go for the dive bomb? No, he's just a little bit too far back. Meanwhile, Krusix really rounding out. Oh, as Krusix has a massive moment through the kink of turn 2. Oh, as Liebert having a little look, getting a little bit late under brakes, and almost clouting into the back of Etnik. But let's take a look further up ahead to the battle for these points, because Donoso has closed up to Calcifer. James still a little bit back, but I feel like that's where we're going to be seeing the battles around here in this battle for 6th place, and Velocity James, who closing in onto the Renault pair of Sunny and Wow. We're going to keep an eye on that delta time between Presnida and Photon. That Williams just splitting up those two Toro Rossos for now. Velocity James will be looking to get the run. With DRS being enabled this lap, Sunny and Wow will be in DRS range of each other. But Velocity James will have double DRS, and the double slipstream might be able to get 2 in one go. James running that little bit wide will use the full track extension to stop himself losing the back end. As actually Donoso might be looking for the inside down onto Calcifer into turn 1. I think he's going to be able to make that work. Calcifer will slot him behind, but he has to be careful because Marianne closing in, as there's been a move further down the field as Etnik and Workman side by side. Etnik actually going to go down the inside, and Samuel Liebert may be looking to follow this through. Let's sit on board with Samuel Liebert. Yes, that is a Williams in 7th place. Presnida doing a fantastic job there. Oh, Liebert almost touching the back of Etnik, but he's going to be able to come out nice and cleanly. Meanwhile, at the front, Formula Danny and Stiv extending their lead over Hypers. We said that Hypers would be one to watch out for. Stiv, though, kind of going under the radar a little bit, but he's doing a good solid job in 3rd place. And don't forget, most of these guys are on those medium tires. If you just take a look at the tire compounds that everyone's going for, Donoso starting on those soft tires to work through this field as quickly as possible. But James is the first of all the hard runners, so he's doing a fantastic job, as is Hypers on that medium compound tire. Velocity James, oh wow, having a little bit of a moment then. This might be all that James needs to move up into 11th place. DRS opens, he moves to the inside, and he'll pick up the position as easy as you like. He picked up the place on El Sunny a little bit earlier, but James will make the move work. Wow though, getting right under the back of him. He's going to get DRS and might be able to actually take this place back. James will go defensive right away. And will there be anything that Wow can do? Nothing just yet, I don't think. As James will hold on to that position, and Wow, I feel like will just fall behind. However, Presnida getting close to Photon, looking to find that position in the Williams. Best result for a Williams in about 10 years, probably. Yes, I do remember the win that Williams had in Barcelona, courtesy of Pastor Maldonado. Sorry, Pastor Crashonado. But Presnida getting close to the back of Photon, and you have to remember he's got Fabrizio Donoso right behind him, and Donoso is on those soft tires. It's Calcifer and Marianne side by side. Calcifer going to slot right back into the tail of Marianne, runs a little bit wide in that dirty air. And he's going to lose the position down to 10th place. And he's got Velocity James hunting him down now as well. However, Prisnida, he has the DRS. Photon trying to move to the inside, trying to break the slipstream. Not going to be able to do it though. Photon going defensive. Can Prisnida do this round the outside into turn 1? There's a little bit of an under rotation. He's going to actually look for the cutback. Not going to be able to find it. Fabrizio Donoso closing in onto these two. As Prisnida will not open up his DRS, it seems. Fabrizio Donoso might actually look for something here. He's just going to play it patient for now. He's almost up into the top 6. And he's done a good job on these soft tyres, eking out all of the advantage that he can find from them. Also, Mark doing a great job, currently 5th in the Ferrari. As here we go, Fabrizio Donoso, Prisnida and Photon. Still riding on board with these guys. This is where the battle is. James also not too far from Calcifer, so we might be seeing something coming through there. They're very, very close together. But Fabrizio Donoso, Prisnida, no move going to come through just yet. What about from Velocity James? Going to struggle to find a way past Calcifer. Calcifer has the DRS, which will just keep him going for a bit and just be so, so crucial in his defense. Donoso getting a good run through turn 14. All about the final corner though. How good will this run be? Donoso, not the best of drives actually. He's going to whack on the DRS, and we might be hitting that point now where the soft tyres just might be starting to wear out that little bit. But Donoso up in 8th place. We're going to take a look back because James might be looking for the double move here. Calcifer, he's going for the inside. Marion is going to hold it around the outside though. Let's stick on board with James as Calcifer will be looking to get the better exit. James though, he might be going for the double move. James going to stick it down the inside. Riding on board with Calcifer. Marianne going to hold it down the inside, I think. But Calcifer, he's got to get the better drive. Still side by side as they make their way into turn 6. Still, is there a little bit of contact? James, he's got to go for the move. He's got to find the way past Calcifer. Calcifer, though, still on the outside. Let's sit on board with Wow, who's got a great view of this. He's going to find the position on Calcifer as Calcifer gets absolutely mugged. Sunny going to be able to catch all of this action as the two Renault pairs hunting down for this final point. Calcifer, though, getting caught out. Velocity James up into 10th place. Wow, what can he do heading into turn 11? Not much it seems. Then Wow gonna have to be patient and wait for another opportunity. But look up ahead, James getting a really good run onto Marianne. Messes up turn 14 a little bit, but turn 15 is still crucial. Look at the better drive that James is getting. He's on the hard tires as well, but making this harder rubber work wonders for him. As up ahead, we've got our first few pits of the race. We're going to stick on board with Velocity James for now though. Who are your pitters? It's Formula Danny and Stiv on those soft tyres. Where will they come out? This is going to be crucial as James goes down the inside, clean as you like, finds the position. So where are we coming out then, Mr. Formula Danny? Formula Danny going to come out right into 16th place. And he's got a 3-second gap to Crew 6 up ahead, who's on the hard tyres. So he should be able to make quick work of him. But lap 8 of 29, Formula Danny and Stiv going for the one-stop strategy as Wow taking a little look down the inside of Calcifer. Not quite going to be able to make it work though. Fabrizio Donoso closing still within with that 1 second of Prisnida and Photon, but they're unable to make any further ground. Matthias Colagon as up ahead. Who is that? Marianne running really wide. This might give Calcifer a bit of an opportunity to close in. Marianne has the DRS though. Maybe Marianne just opened that DRS just a little bit too early. Thank you also to everyone who is currently watching on YouTube. Don't forget to get in the chat your predictions for who you think is going to win this race, as Crew 6 picking up a 3-second time penalty. But yeah, don't forget to get your predictions in for who you think is going to win, your driver of the day, and any shout outs that you would like me to put out on stream. As up ahead, Fabrizio Donoso coming into the pit. Remember, he started on those medium setup tires and going for a very early pit stop as El Sunny runs really wide, and Liebert might be looking for the run now on Sunny. Sunny all over the place. Also up ahead, look at this, Calcifer being forced onto the grass. Or the dirt, we should say. Marion going to try to hold it around the outside. He's going to be able to make it work. As now, Wow might potentially look for something into 6. Not quite going to be able to make it work though, as Liebert did manage to find a way through on Sunny. Oh, almost a bit of contact there. Sunny almost running into the back of Liebert. But Fabrizio Donoso, an early stop on the medium tyres, but he was getting held up behind Presnida and Photon, and I feel like this is a really nice strategy, going for the undercut here in that Mercedes. We saw Lewis Hamilton make that work against Verstappen out at Hungary. Can he do the same thing? As we've got a nice 5-way gaggle of cars. Might be 6 soon if Sunny and Etnik can really close in. Oh, as Calcifer almost gets rammed into the back by Wow. Calcifer's going to have a DRS. Let's take a look at this though. The triple DRS going to come through. As Wow closing in on Calcifer. Calcifer closing in on Marianne. Calcifer going to move to the inside, but Wow will go down the inside first. Almost contact coming in. Let's stick on board with Samuel Liebert, who's going to get the DRS. This is all playing into the hands of Marianne, who's going to be able to stretch out his lead. Calcifer going to go defensive. Wow looking for the outside. Samuel Liebert going to come from really far back down the inside, but it won't matter because Wow going to be able to hold it around the outside. These three so close, but if they just play it patiently for a bit, they can hunt down Marianne. But this is a great battle we've got going on. As Samuel Liebert down the inside of turn 8. Not quite going to be able to make it work. This is what Calcifer needs to stretch a bit of a gap. However, Formula Danny closing in onto Workman, who is joining on to the back of this group in that McLaren. But let's sit on board with Formula Danny for a bit. I think we'll be able to see if any moves happen up ahead. Nothing coming through just yet, as Formula Danny will go down the inside into turn 11. Ooh, Etnik trying to find something onto Sunny perhaps. Cheers, Marek. Thanks for the support. Etnik on the back straight. How late will he go on the brakes? He's going to miss the apex ever so slightly. This might play into the hands of Sunny. He's actually going to run quite wide. Formula Danny slowly closing in on this. Will actually lose a lot of time as Matthias Cologon coming into the pit. Meanwhile, up ahead, Calcifer finally going to be able to pull the trigger onto Marianne. He'll run a little bit wide, forcing Marianne out wide. Let's ride on board with Samuel Liebert. As Wow, he cuts the corner completely. He's going to have to back off a little bit. Samuel Liebert looking to pick up the pieces. Might be able to move up into 7th. He's down the inside of Marianne. Oh, is there contact? Calcifer running a little bit wide. Samuel Liebert, actually he's going to be able to make it up into 6th. Down the inside he goes into turn number 6. Calcifer forced to concede the position into 7th. And this is absolutely crazy racing. As here we ride on board with Formula Danny, who's stuck in the middle of this. And this is going to be really important stuff for Stiv. As up ahead, Calcifer's actually lost the position back to Marianne. As in now, it's Samuel Liebert who's taken the advantage. This is absolutely fantastic stuff. ORL Season 11 shaping up to be a fantastic season. Formula Danny's going to go down the inside. There's a little bit of contact, but I think it's done fairly cleanly. Formula Danny will move up into 11th place. Needs to dispatch with these guys as quickly as possible. Waiting to see when Hypers will come into the pits, because when they pit, they could actually jump ahead of these guys if they can stay out for long enough. As James moving up into 2nd place on those hard tyres. We've got our first pitter of this group, and it is going to be Marianne. This could help him massively. As El Sunny might look for the dive onto Calcifer. No, nothing will come through, as Veloce Formula Danny will be forced to step back for now. Stiv actually a fair way back, considering he was within a second before coming into the pits. Wow, will he look for a move onto his teammate? No, he won't. Both Renaults are going to lock up. There's going to be contact as Formula Danny going to be able to pick up the pieces, makes his way back up into 5th place. Formula Danny making his way through the traffic fairly well. But don't forget that Marianne has pitted. He's an absolute clearer. As actually, let's go down the order. Oh, wait, hang on. Cologon getting quite close to Stiv. Those two were racing for second before the pit stop, and Cologon really closing up after the pits. But Donoso and Mark, let's just see how this goes. Both of these guys are on the hard tires. Mark on slightly fresher hard rubber. As Stiv makes a move on Crucix for 10th place. And Cologon, I'm sure, will be shortly following. So we're going to switch over to that, as we can see from the perspective of Hypers. Cologon finding the position. Will chase after Stiv now. But here is the battle that we all care about, as Formula Danny, 5th place now, looking to find the move onto his old championship rival, Calcifer. I think Calcifer might be backing out of this a little bit. Formula Danny got to move to the inside and will be able to secure the position easy as you like. As back behind, Stiv has to be careful. You got Cologon right behind him, as actually Crucix and Velocity Hypers taking the position round the outside of turn 1, moving up into 10th place. As down below, Marianne is actually going to pass, wow, and gain an absolutely humongous advantage. So he's going to gain a lot from this, as Fabrizio Donoso and Mark side by side through turn 1. Nameless retires from the session, as there's contact through turn 6. Donoso just about able to hold it, but that was close stuff. Photon actually going to be able to pick up the position onto Donoso. That's a big shame for Donoso, but his strategy has been working out well, and just unlucky with that incident, as El Sunny closing in onto Calcifer. Velocity James still leading the Grand Prix after he hasn't stopped. Neither has Samuel Liebert, actually, so these guys doing a decent job, but Formula Danny closing in onto Liebert. Well, Calcifer has a bit of a moment with a back end through turn 14. This might allow Sunny to get pretty close as they enter the final corner. Can Sunny get the drive? A decent enough drive, but Calcifer, he's going to go for the pits now. We know how much he does struggle with this tyre wear. However, Etnik now going to look for the move. Can he find anything into turn 1? He's really close. He's going to go for the move down the inside. But El Sunny holding it around the outside of turn 1. Etnik might have to wait for turn 4 now. As Samuel Liebert picks up a 5-second penalty, I believe. Down the inside goes Etnik. Sunny trying to hold it around the outside. He gets forced out wide. Reminiscent of Rosberg Hamilton. There's contact. Exactly the same as Donoso and Photon. But this time I think it was clearly Sunny's fault. And that's a massive shame, as we're seeing Workman and Stiv battling for position. Stiv finding his way through. Matthias Cologon, he's got a hungry Mercedes of Hypers right behind him. Has to be so wary of this. Oh, Cologon's going to actually get a really nice drive, going for that late apex. Maybe into the final corner he could get something here. Actually, I think he's too far back, but really good run nonetheless, as up ahead, Stiv's going to look for the pass onto Sunny to move up into 4th place. Will be 2nd place after future pit stops. Workman has the DRS, and that's just going to help him stay ahead of Cologon for now. Cologon going for the Daniel Ricciardo S. Dive bomb, almost contact. And now he's going to be under a lot of pressure from Hypers. They make their way through the kink of 3. Hypers with the DRS, so does Cologon. Hyper's going to move out of the slipstream. Cologon runs wide. Can he actually hold the position? No, he can't. Hypers moves up into 7th place after a poor mistake from Cologon into turn 4. Formula Danny has found the pass onto Samuel Liebert, but he's now 6.5 seconds down on Velocity James. Velocity James, I'm sure, will be able to actually pit onto the medium tyres and go for that one-stop strategy. Formula Danny still has one more stop to do, and Formula Danny presumably going to go onto the soft tyres for his final stint. So if Velocity James can stay ahead for another 5 laps or so, he could then just pit straight onto the soft tyres or the medium tyres and race Formula Danny to the end, ahead in position but with the worst tyres, and it should be then a great race. Polygon has kept within the 1 second gap of Velocity Hypers. But here we go. Hypers might be looking for something. Now everyone's just too far back from each other right now. It's a good drive from Hypers through turn 2 as Polygon picks up a 3-second time penalty. Hypers doesn't care about that. He's just looking for the way pass onto Workman. So close right now. Polygon right on the back of this, but we're going to go back because Donoso closing in onto Ednick actually just found a way through, and now onto the back of Photon once again. We'll be hoping though this time they don't have it coming together. Here we go, Hyper's onto Workman. Workman has the DRS. Hyper's struggling to get through because of it. And he just needs to be able to find a time where he can really use his DRS. He's going to be forcing Workman onto the bad line through turns at 13 and 14. Should be able to get a really good drive. And if he can just force Workman out of the DRS range of Sonny, that will be so crucial. Workman is dropping back 7/10 of a second as Prisnida picks up a 3-second time penalty. As into the pits, Sonny and Workman go. Velocity James also going to follow suit into the pits on lap 17. We'll be pitting on for those medium tyres, and let's see if he can make it to the end. We'll be able to pull a little bit of distance from Formula Danny, but if Velocity James can make this work, he could win the race from last on the grid. Last. I just want to make sure all of you guys are aware of that, as Photon Donoso has made his way past. Photon will be looking for something around the outside into turn 4. I don't think he's going to be able to do it though, Donoso. Donoso will be able to get the decent enough traction. And we'll move up into 8th place. Oh, there's contact as Donoso is sent around again, and Photon might actually look to pick up the position after that mistake, as Donoso's tyres are going to have taken a little bit of a beating after a couple of near spins. There's actually Workman and Kopi very close together on circuit. As Workman will just activate the DRS, and let's see if he can do anything. Of course, Kopi not within 1 second. Workman down the inside as James picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's not what he wanted to see. He actually had a very good chance of winning this race, and he might still do it on track at least, as Samuel Liebert has gone into the pits. Velocity James onto the medium set of tyres. He's right behind Donoso and Photon on the better tyres, on the fresher tyres as well, as we miss Photon finding a way back through onto Donoso. Donoso going to go down the outside, down the straight into turn 4. Donoso going to make it work. Nothing that Photon can do whatsoever there. But look who's closing in. Velocity James starting from the very back of the grid. He's doing a fantastic job so far. 11.5 laps remaining of the Grand Prix. This is Formula Danny making his way into Sector 3 as we speak. James super close to Photon. This might be his chance to do it, but we're going to go up ahead because Hyper's closing in onto Stiv. 7-second gap from them to Formula Danny, but this could be a really good opportunity for them. As Hyper's just trying to stay within that slipstream. Activates the DRS. Or will go to the inside. Stiv trying to close a door. Won't be able to do it. But look who's following them. It's Colagon. As we're going to take a look on board from him. Hypers will move up into first. Oh, there's contact. Stiv gonna lose a back end. Will be sent spinning. Oh, unfortunate stuff. Colagon sending Stiv around. And Stiv, with the disconnection after that, clearly a little bit upset about that incident. And understandably so, as Formula Danny actually pitted that lap for the medium tyres. He's come out 5 seconds behind Velocity James, and they're practically on identical setups right now. So, on identical, strategies. As that's going to be a penalty. I missed who that was for. If someone did catch that in the chat, in the Twitch video, that would be really, really helpful. Formula Danny, though, closing in 4 seconds behind Photon. Speaking of Photon, though, James has already found a way through. We're going to stick on board with him, closing in onto Donoso. But this is going to be an absolute fairy tale story. Velocity James, from the back of the grid, is now essentially in provisional first. When everyone ahead pits, he will take the lead, but everyone from Hypers down can actually make it to the end on those tyres, as Liebert picks up a 3-second time penalty. Donoso will go defensive. James sweeps it around the outside and will move up into 5th place. About 10-second gap separating him and Hypers, and if he can catch about a second a lap, he will be able to make this work. As back behind, Photon with DRS onto Donoso, might be looking for something. Donoso closing in onto James. It's going to take a bit of a defensive line as Liebert picks up the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. The two Alfa Romeos doing a great job so far. Liebert, though, opting to go for the soft tyres. Thank you very much, Paku, for that. Workman with the 3-second time penalty. Oh, as there's a little bit of contact between Donoso and James. Donoso trying to find a way through. This is not what James needs right now. He needs to just be able to pull that gap as best as he can. Oh, there's almost contact between the two of them. As up ahead, Colagon closing in onto Hypers. Donoso so close to James, but James, I feel as soon as he breaks that 1-second gap, he'll be able to pull an advantage. But Formula Danny closing in very, very quickly to this group. Kopi has left the session as well. He was currently sitting last, so unfortunate for him. James has left the session. So not quite sure what's happened there. As El Sunny has left the session as well. So 2 disconnects coming through. And I know at the start of the race there were a few incidents where, you know, people were struggling to connect to the lobby. So hopefully we're not getting similar issues as we got last season. But Donoso moves up into 5th, and that is actually gutting for Velocity James. He had a win available to him, and that really, really sucks for him. What a shame. However, one driver who does still have the win available to him is Mr. Fabrizio Donoso. He's done 12 laps on the... Sorry, not Fabrizio Donoso, Formula Danny. He's closing in onto James and Photon on those hard tyres. Sorry, on those medium tyres. Let's see if he can make his way through and actually catch up to the leaders. Interested to see whether all of these guys who started on the medium set of tyres are going for the 1-stop strategy or for a 2-stop. From Danny moving up into 7th for now. It's Photon and Donoso. This is a great battle for 5th place. Calcifer down in 11th. He's not too far back from Marianne, and he will gain a position after Velocity James. Essentially, his ghost car falls behind Calcifer. Also a big shame for, I'm trying to remember who it was now. Stiv, yeah, of course, Stiv. Unable to actually, or ended up disconnecting after having that incident with, I believe it was Cologon through turn 6. Photon closing up as close as he dares. Meanwhile, Kasper's actually found a way through onto Marianne, and he's going to be stretching out that lead now as he secures 10th place. Photon and Denozo are close, but Formula Danny closing in quickly. Danny will get the power on. Meanwhile, at the front, there's only a 4/10 gap between Cologon and Hyper, so we could see a good battle coming through there. But if it wasn't for the disconnect, your winners in terms of constructors would have actually gone to Red Bull, because Cologon in second and James was in contention to get a top 3, if not go for the win. So massive shame for him. At the minute, it looks like it's going to be the Mercedes of Hypers and Denozo taking the spoils, which is something that we did expect. As Etnik picks up the fastest lap of the race, he's all the way down in 14th though, so that doesn't matter too much. It's Formula Danny right on the back of Photon. This is his chance. He's never going to get closer than this. He takes a look at the inside, will make his way through as Photon tries to maybe hold it around the outside, but Formula Danny having none of it. As Formula Danny now going to slow it right down. But look how quickly he's catching up to Denozo. Marianne also within half a second of Calcifer, so we could see something there. But let's just stick on board with Formula Danny for now. Slows it down, drops it down into third gear. Right onto the tail of Denozo now. He's just on the fresher, on the better medium compound tyres. But taking nothing away from Denozo, who started all the way down in 16th place. As Denozo picks up a 3-second time penalty. There are a few penalties that we do have to consider, as Formula Danny will sweep around the outside into the final corner and take 5th place. 4.5 seconds to Presnida up ahead, and that might be as far as he can go, as Formula Danny going defensive against Denozo, who wants a piece of this action. As for actually there might be a little bit of contact behind Fabrizio Denozo, leaving a little bit of space for Photon. As Mark is disconnected. This constantly happens. Mark always doing really, really well. And then something happens down the line as Presnida has disconnected. Are we getting... What is it with the disconnects today? Steam playing up once again. And this is going to mean that Fabrizio Denozo gets bumped up into 4th place. And Danny will go all the way up into 3rd. But here we go. This is the battle for the lead. Hypers and Matthias Cologon. They have been so close to each other for so long. Yeah. Hey Sonny, how's it going? Were you also subjected to the disconnect? Hypers goes defensive. Matthias Cologon looking for a potential way through. He's going to look at the outside. Can he find the cutback? Yes, he can. But will this be a good enough drive? He loses the back end slightly with a little twitch off the back end. Hyper's going to be able to hold the position for now. Meanwhile, back behind, Samuel Liebert finding the place onto Mark, who's come into the pits. As Hyper's now got Cologon right on his tail. I think what we need to do, guys, is we need to blame Calcifer, okay? Because Calcifer is the one who's hosting the session, and we like to blame Calcifer. So if you guys could all put in the chat so that when Calcifer watches this replay, he can see how loved he is. If you can all put down Calcifer is a terrible host, I would really appreciate that. Thank you. Also, speaking of Calcifer, I was talking to him before the race, and he was saying that he's really struggling with this F1 2019 game, just struggling with overheating in the tires. So not something that you want to hear, as Colagon staying close, but Hyper's doing a great job of defending as Photon goes past Presnider's ghosting car. As actually Workman might be looking for something here onto Calcifer. He's got the fresher tires, he's got the better tires, and he might be able to make this work, as Samuel Liebert picking up a 3-second time penalty. Don't forget the rules of ORL. 5 time penalties and you are disqualified. As up ahead, there's been a move for first. Side by side, Hypers and Colagon. It was always looking like it was a matter of time. Colagon still side by side. Can he do anything? Round the outside into turn 4. No, he can't. Colagon, though, will go for the cutback. He might have the inside for turn 6. Through 5 they go, and into 6, side by side. Oh, there's contact, just like we saw before. But this time, Hypers will be the one to come out ahead. Formula Danny, this might be the opportunity he needs to really close in, as Colagon falls 3 seconds behind Hypers, and I feel like that is the race done and dusted. Hypers should have this in the bag, barring any seriously bad mistakes. As Workman finding a way through on Calcifer, and this just might be the overheating tires that we were talking about a little bit earlier. So we're going to go down because, oh wait, this is Mark's ghosting car. It has been passed by WoW and soon by Etnik. I'm actually really gutted for for Velocity James, because Velocity James was about 5 seconds ahead of Formula Danny. So he would have been really close to Colagon and Hypers, and I think he was actually a little bit quicker than Danny, so that could have been pretty massive. Looks like it won't quite be the Velocity 1, 2, 3 this time around. We saw it a few times last year, namely at Hockenheim, which was a great race, and arguably the race that cost Formula Danny the title, where he ended up coming second after going for a bad pit stop strategy. In his words, he wanted to make it entertaining and not take an easy win. Etnik closing in onto WoW. WoW with a lockup. As Workman closing in onto Velocity James's ghosting car. Not going to matter though. He'll be able to just drive through him essentially. And he'll take that place, moving up into 8th place. 7-8 for McLaren. I'm pretty sure that Eric Boulier will be pretty happy with that. So where is the battle happening? Velocity James falling behind Calcifer. WoW will be looking to close it into Calcifer as well, but it looks like your top 3 is pretty much sorted. As what's happened to Donoso? Mariena's disconnected, and we have disconnected as well. Codemasters, can you fix your game? Oh well, I don't know. Is this Codemasters or Steam? And we're out of the race, ladies and gentlemen. Steam has played up. And what can we say? Honestly, F1, Steam, you are bad. Well, that kind of sums this up. I don't know what's going to happen, whether... Yeah, I honestly don't know. I have no idea whether now we I don't know. I feel like now this might be the point where we just have to say we have to have a redo of the race. But I don't know. We'll leave that to the league organisers. But I don't think there's too much to talk about. R7, if you could let me know, do we wait for interviews? Wait for interviews. Okay, cool. But this is a massive shame. Okay, so we've just got the official ruling. We're going to be taking the results from lap 27 because everyone disconnected. So Hypers will be your race winner ahead of Colligan in second place and Formula Danny in third. So guys, do get some messages in the in the YouTube chat. Get your questions in so that we can ask it to your top 3. Wow. As I think we're going to be getting a voice. Yeah. It seems that the B tier has just started their race, and yeah. Right, we're going to go into the Steam chat. So we're just going to post a message. But don't forget, we just blame Calcifer. Like, whenever something goes wrong, he's the host, we blame Calcifer. What can we say? But yeah, do get message half points. Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, Mark, I'm actually so gutted for you. You're doing such a. I don't know what we do, like, because people have been disconnecting from the start of the race, and it kind of got even worse. And I feel like, you know, it's not up to you. How do I invite somebody to this chat? Oh. 15 points to 0. Yeah, but Steam playing up. What a shame. But I guess that's just the way it goes sometimes. There's literally no words to describe this. Just condolences, I guess, to everyone who did get caught out by that. And I guess congrats on having good internet for those who were able to survive. We await to see what the final standings will be. Maybe we should just take results from qualifying. I mean, that's unfair as well because James wasn't there. And the thing is, like, how far back do you go? Because we had disconnects from about halfway through. Hey, Hypers.
Hello.
How's it going?
Wait, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It was a good race for sure.
Hey, Mark.
What's up?
Oh, that was entertaining. Oh, I swear, Mark. Like every time you seem to be doing really well, you have a disconnect or something happens. Oh. I said to Calcifer before the race, if he doesn't finish top 5, I'm gonna tell R7 to put him in the second division, and he's just messaged me now saying, I got 4th place. But I don't know what's happening.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna rejoin the call real quickly.
Okay, cool.
Can we just count lap 23, please?
Pardon? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Oh. Bloody hell. Hello.
Wait, what the fuck, you so loud?
I'm sorry. This is a stream. Can you not swear and echo?
Why are you so loud?
That's because I'm amazing.
I'm back.
Nice. All right. Shall we wait for everyone else to come in, or should we just
Yep,
do?
let's
Okay.
wait a bit.
Yeah, we can wait. I don't think Matthias is gonna join, but I'll tell Danny to join maybe.
Danny, you know, going for that 2-stop strategy. Oh. Oh, I was actually quite excited to see James, because he was almost going to do last to first. He was actually flying. Oh. How was the track though? How were like conditions and all of that?
Hello, guys.
Hey Danny.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
Long time no speak.
yes.
I was saying before the race, do you have your lasagna ready?
What do I have ready?
Do you have your lasagna ready?
No, unfortunately, not today.
Ah, disappointing. Disappointing.
Let's try
Yeah,
together.
that's why I didn't win.
Oh
I
yes,
didn't
yeah.
have motivation, you know. I didn't have the power. I didn't need to rush anywhere to eat. So I didn't try to go that fast.
There. Oh right. Do we know if anyone else is going to join? Otherwise, we'll just do it with us 4.
I'm just asking Matthias at the moment. But she's not replying, so.
Okay. Apparently we.
I watched the
can
live
start.
stream, your crash, and I hope that he doesn't think that it was your fault, because he just left just enough space and he slipped into you, like Vettel did to,
Oh
for
yeah,
an example,
I'm just
Hamilton in
looking at it.
Monza.
I'm just looking at it from my perspective. I feel like there's been enough space. It's kind of a racing incident because you don't want to go side by side there anyways. So yeah.
The thing is, I saw Fabrizio and Photon had the exact same contact, and 2 others as well. But it was always the other way around. The person on the outside ended up going spinning. So it was weird how it switched around for that one actually.
All right.
Okay, right. We can start. So, starting with our race winner, Hypers. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. I guess the strategy helped a lot today, but yeah, managed to bring it home.
I mean, a good win for you. You started on the medium set of tyres. You had Formula Danny up ahead on the soft tyres. Were you fairly comfortable in your strategy from the start?
I guess I always knew the starting on medium strategy is way quicker, so I was kind of confident that I'm gonna gain places because of my strategy. When I saw Danny and Steve on the softs, I felt like if I just do good pace, I can beat them just purely due to the strategy, and I did that. I was quite confident the whole race. The way the medium tires and especially the hards behave is really good. They're really consistent, really quick. and I just knew right from the start that I can challenge for the win, and when I won, it just good, I guess. I'm quite happy to have the championship lead and two race wins in a row.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. And I'm gonna kind of go to Danny here because last year it was all you. You were winning every single race, and now Hypers is taking that away from you. Are you gonna come back? You have to beat him, surely.
Yeah, he's a very talented young boy, so I'm very happy about his performance, and I definitely think that he is one of the favorite.
Oh, and Danny disconnected.
One of the favorites to.
Is it another Steam disconnect coming through? Thank you very much, Steam.
Yeah, there's been a lot of these in the race. I saw that.
Oh, wow. Okay, I guess I'll move on to you, Mark, because you are having a really good race, a really solid race. I think you were up in 4th or 5th, and then the disconnect once again. Like, how was your race up until that point?
I was still in third.
Oh wow, 3rd. Oh, but how was your race up until that point?
Pretty solid. I don't know what the guys in front of me eat. I think they eat too much porridge or what. I just couldn't go their pace, so I just decided to stay maybe in 6 seconds of them, so maybe they get the second penalty or something. So it was a solid race until then. Quali lap was my best so far I did the entire practice. So yeah, it was good.
Well, good stuff. And Calcifer, moving to you as well. You were in about a 7-car battle that went all the way to 6th. Hey, you're back.
Yep.
When
Yeah,
did
you
I
can finish it,
disconnect?
Danny.
When did I disconnect?
About 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, but what was I talking about? Do I restart the whole interview?
Nah, this one's going to be a bit more informal just because of how the race went, and yeah. But okay, going back to you then, Danny. I was saying, Hypers was last season. You were winning all the races. This year looks like Hypers is taking it. When are you going to come back? When are you going to put him in his place?
So I'm very happy to see Hypers at the front because obviously he's a young talent, a veloce driver, and that's what we are supposed to pace for. I tried some interesting strategies in these races. I definitely think that my race was a bit more enjoyable than Hypers's because I needed to overtake about 15 cars, but overtaking 15 cars always comes with a lot of time, and of course, at the end of the day, one of the most important thing, if not the most important thing, it's that 25 points that now at the name of Hypers, so I will definitely try to grab some win points as well. But so far, this season is good. This is my first race because I haven't managed to make it in Australia, and there is still 19 sessions to go.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
And of course, last year you almost won the championship after coming in midway through the season. But you've always kind of pulled out some of these interesting strategies. Are you going to be a bit more serious with the strategies this season then?
I don't know. It just depends. If I see a chance of making a harder strategy to work, then I rather choose that because I'm just that kind of guy.
Okay. Well,
Otherwise, it will be too easy for you.
It's just the
To be
thing
honest.
that it's at the end of the day, it's a game for me. I mean, these lake races, it's not an official fun esports season, and I really enjoy battling with these guys. So if I have a strategy with more traffic included, then I enjoy the clean drivers in the league and battle. So yeah.
we look forward to some more interesting strategies because it always makes it more entertaining for us watching the races for sure. So best of luck to you and your future races.
Thank you very much.
Calcifer, going back to you then, that 7-way battle that led all the way up to like 8th or 7th place, how was that? Because that was chaos.
Yeah, it was a chaos. I lost a lot of time and yeah, I don't know what to say about it. It was a clean, nice battle, to be honest. So I enjoyed it a lot.
I mean, there were times, were you ever at a point that you thought, okay, maybe I can just break away from the others here, or was it always that close that you were always just switching positions?
The DRS is so OP here. and you can just stay behind and save your tires, fuel, and ERS. So it's if you don't have that kind of pace like Danny has, then you can't break away.
The final question I wanted to bring to you, Calcifer, was towards the end, you were sitting, before the disconnects, you were sitting in about 9th or 8th place. Then your pace seemed to drop off a little bit and you started falling back down. What was going on there?
I had to save a lot of fuel because I was like -1 or something like that.
Okay.
So that was the problem.
I guess that explains that then. But congratulations again. I don't quite know where you finished or what.
Before,
I don't know if we're
because of
accepting
the
that though.
disconnects. I will.
You will. Oh.
Yeah, let's see.
For those
I
of you
hope
guys who don't know, Calcifer and I had a couple of challenges running off this, so I guess you don't have to go into Split 2 just yet.
Hope so.
But yeah, congratulations to yourself and best of luck for the next race.
Thank you.
Mark, going back to you then, with the disconnects, and I feel like this is kind of a sad way to end the interview, but what do you think? Do you think it should be half points for this race?
Depends, but for me it would be better, yeah. So I don't lose that much in championship.
Fair enough. Well, thank you all very much for joining me for these interviews, and best of luck to you all for the future races and the rest of the season.
See you later, alligator.
See you, Calcifer. Cheers, Mark. Right, and with all that said and done, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much concludes our round 2 of Split A for ORL Season 11 here at Bahrain. Your race winner was Velocity Hypers, finishing in first ahead of Colligan, and in third place was Formula Danny. There are a few disconnects, so we will hope to update you with the full kind of results and everything that's going on in the future. But thank you guys once again for joining us, and we'll see you next week on Thursday at the same time, 7:40 p.m. Do tune in for round number 3. See you guys then.